So yeah, the Game dropped a new album. And I have absolutely no interest in talking about the album. And there's no disrespect to Game. Like, he's still a really good rapper. However, I do want to talk about the point that most rappers get to where you don't matter anymore. And I think because you start realizing you don't matter anymore, it makes you do goofy shit. Case in point, The Game. The Game dropped a 30-track album that nobody asked for. Nobody wanted to hear
one person, bro.
Nobody wanted to hear 30 tracks of The Game. But because he knew that nobody gave a fuck to hear this nigga rap or hear him rap 30 times over, he did what rappers have to do when they know
you on the clock.
You on the clock. He has a song on there called the Black Slim Shady. Let me take you through my experience with this song. I tried listening to it the night that Eddie requested that we talk about it. I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about this song. Let me go listen to it. I've had less hard of a time watching paint dry than making it through the song the first time. But I knew that we had to do it, so I persevered. Not that night. I gave up. I closed out Apple Music. I was like, I'm done, bro. I'm done. But right before the pod started, I was like, all right, I'm going to push through this 10 minutes. I'm going to listen to it. And I listened to the song, and it's everything that I expected it to be. Corny, lame, desperate, embarrassing, beneath the caliber of a rapper that The Game is, because he is a quality, all-time great rapper. That's a testament.
Yes, sir.
This is beneath you. You didn't have to do this. Let the music stand for itself. But like most people, we don't care about what you got to say because you don't have anything to rap about.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. This isn't even a good game diss. This ain't 300 bars and running, which is a diss that was so good that he took down the entire G Unit by himself.
Mm-hmm. Legendary, bro.
This is what you have in your fucking legacy. These are the diss tracks that you already gave to hip hop. And you did this?
Bro, it's not even like if you tried to rank it, you could probably name 10 diss tracks better than this track.
And the part at the beginning is just like, is this a diss? Because just like he's just going so in depth. I can't tell if this is like a diss or like a tongue in cheek like head nod in some of the parts. It was bizarre.
This isn't me trying to say he wasn't rapping or he wasn't doing a good job on the song itself. Like, he was, bro. Like, he was. It was just so corny and so desperate that I just don't care. Like, you are going after a nigga who's not relevant anymore, bro. Like, that's the worst part about this.
He's relevant and his legacy's set in stone at that. Nothing you say is gonna change anyone's mind.
And my thing is like, bro, like if you don't diss Eminem, you gotta diss Eminem. You had several opportunities within these past 15 years to diss Eminem. Diss him in 04, bro. Like if that's how you felt, diss a nigga in fucking 04 and then see what fucking happens.
He didn't always feel that way though. Listen. Like there are interviews of this nigga talking about how even he wouldn't go against Eminem. Like this, he has plenty of interviews like.
But the Game is such a wishy-washy, always in his fucking feelings type of like persona.
Nigga, man.
Like that's just what he yeah.
Well, what I would say is back in 04, man, he just got in the game and he was also under
Dr. Dre. So it wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make any sense at all to diss him now. Diss him then, dissing him now, like it doesn't make sense now, but at least it's more of an understanding of like y'all saying this nigga top 5. And I was gonna say, Herbie, ain't that wasn't he your favorite rapper?
He was, and I listen. I got a whole section, and Rod is gonna know because this is gonna hit Rod the way it's gonna hit me. It's gonna take Rod down memory lane, bro. Trust me, I got something for you, bro.
What's up, bro?
Eminem used to be my favorite rapper, but that's when I was young. He spoke to that teen angst that I wanted to, get out of my system. And then he dropped something called Recovery. I had to put money together to afford that $13 CD. I put that album in. I listened to the album. I lied to myself for like 2 months. I'm like, yeah, this shit on fire. This shit is. yeah, M. You still got it? You still giving them the hits? And then...
Hey, man, that was me and Lasers from Lupin.
Like, at one point, and Dom, exactly, perfect, because Dom, you're going to know. At one point, you listening to it, and you can't lie to yourself anymore. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like, bro, I What am I doing, dog? This shit is ass, bro. And I have not been a fan of that man because he's only made worse music ever since then,
that
bro.
point, yep.
Since Recovery. That is the downfall. He fell off a cliff. Recovery came out in 2009. This nigga has not been relevant to black people. He's still relevant to pop culture to an extent, but that's to white people. Black people are not listening to this nigga. So even from that regard, you are a primarily strict, pure hip-hop artist with a black fan base. You're going after somebody who does not matter to black people. You're not getting the promotion from the album because the people who are going to support your album, the people who are really, like, who know who you are, don't give a fuck that you diss Eminem.
And the other part, too, is just, like, Eminem himself has accepted that, like, his prime time has passed. So that makes it even fucking worse because the person that you're dissing at this point in time does not give. He's moved. He's doing so many other things with his life. He doesn't fucking care. And Game has nothing else.
Like, I'm seeing blogs and saying people who don't like Eminem, they're champion. It's like, oh yeah, Eminem used to do it. That's how Eminem built his name. Yeah, that's how he built his name. Game has been rapping since 2003.
His name is built. His legacy
name is built.
Cemented, dog.
The fuck are you talking about? This shows what happens when you are somebody who knows you don't have any imprint on the culture anymore, no matter how good your music is.
You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of kind of like how in wrestling, like niggas like Ric Flair will just come back and just try to make a fucking splash. And that's what Game is doing. He's pulling his greatest Ric Flair, his greatest Sting, fucking just, oh yeah, like you had your prime back in like the 90s and blah, blah, blah. And now you just want people to remember, like, yo, you still here. And, like, we will always know you're still here, bro. We just don't have to hear you anymore, bro. I listened to the disc before we did the podcast because I know we were going to talk about it. And I listened to it with an open mind. Like, I didn't go into it badly or, you know, I was like, I used to listen. The documentary was like, I remember growing up was one of my favorite albums to listen to. So Game
was the shit. It was a classic.
Yeah, I love the documentary, bro. Like, I grew up on that. Being someone who's familiar with his body of work, who enjoyed it, listening to this track to me just felt like a half-hearted attempt to remain relevant. It just sounded like he just wanted to sound like he was one of the big kids again. And it's just like, Game, this is beyond you, bro. Like, you're OG now. Like, no one cares. Like, the younger generation, like, your music is not going to reach them. And to us people who grew up on you, we've heard better from you. So what are you doing? Like, you're just in limbo right now. Like, that's just what it sounded like. That's what the diss track is to me. It's not a bad song, but it doesn't mean anything. And the thing about hip-hop music is that the best tracks are the most meaningful ones. And this track is meaningless. So what's the point?